Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video is my self-care checklist, and I want you guys to grab a cup of tea or coffee, make yourself comfortable because it's going to be a chatty video. And I thought about this video a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so glad to be able to film this for you guys. And it's all about, you know, the different things that you can do when you're in need of a self-care kind of check. I know we are very into our beauty regimens, so things like masks and just, you know, facials, body massages and stuff like that. But this is an extra thing that you can keep, and you can sort of like save this video in your favorites or bookmark it, and then you can come back to it to refer to it if you need a bit of a checklist when it comes to self-care. So what I've done is I've categorized each kind of like activity into 6 categories, from emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, practical to social, just because, you know, these are all areas of our lives that we might need to touch on. So I'm going to start off with the emotional. So number 1 is watch a good movie. I know it sounds really simple and really kind of like, well, that's not really much of, you know, anything, but you'd be surprised how much of a boost emotionally watching a good movie is. Sometimes when I'm feeling like I need that, I just put on one on Netflix, either a feel-good movie or a romantic movie or a comedy, something that's going to get my emotions flowing and something that I can engage in. And usually afterwards, I feel really like boosted, and I feel like, oh, that was very nice. And so I definitely have it as my number 1 emotional self-care point. Number 2, write yourself a positive note. I know it sounds so simple, but this is such a booster for your emotions. If you're feeling a bit down, just grab a pen and a paper and just write a note to yourself. Just be like, "Dear Shirley," or whatever your name is. Write something positive and read it back, and that helps with your emotions, and you can boost your emotions and you can feel good. Number 3, listen to your favorite music. This is such a good one. I just pop on my headphones and I go to Apple Music, and I have a playlist. Well, I have tons of different playlists. I have one I have called Chill, and it has so much of my favorite songs on there. I just listen to it and instantly I feel good. I start to plan things I want to do, and sometimes I plan videos in my head with the music on. So it's really nice just to have that moment just to boost your emotions, and listening to your favorite music does this. Number 4, write your thoughts and feelings in a journal. Quite similar to the positive note, but this one is a bit more deep or deeper. You write your positives and your negatives. So everything that you're thinking, everything that you're feeling, has this kind of way of just relieving your mind when you have things written down. So it's very good, and you just free up space to do other things with your brain. I know it sounds crazy, but just writing it down, just have a journal somewhere private, just sit down and write out how you're feeling, your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, positive and negative, things that you're trying to solve, issues that you're trying to work through. It's very helpful just to put this in a journal, close it, and you feel really light. I'm telling you, it works wonders. So physical. Number 1 is to go for a run. Now you can just put on your jogging shoes, your workout clothes, and just run around your neighborhood for about 30 minutes. This not only boosts your endorphins, it just helps you exercise as well as it moves your body, and it generates really nice hormones, good hormones in your body, so you kind of feel boosted. If you don't like to run, then you can just go for a walk. You can even grab a friend or a family member, or if you have any pets that like to go for walks as well, you can take them out on a walk. Number 3, dance. Put on your favorite music and dance. Just get on your feet and start moving your body. This is a very good one because it starts making you feel kind of good. You start to practice your moves for the club. It's very, very helpful. Number 4, go for yoga. I love yoga. I go to yoga every week, and it's such an amazing activity to do, just to, you know, stretch your body, work your body as well, and also, you know, relax your mind. It's something that I would definitely recommend to everyone. If you don't do yoga, find your nearest yoga class. I know that most gyms offer yoga classes, so you can sign up to the gym and then go to the yoga classes. It's so good. It has so many health benefits, and it has so many body, mind, everything benefits. So I definitely would suggest putting yoga in your physical self-care checklist. So now for the spiritual. Number 1 is to make a gratitude list. It can be anything. Like, it's such a boost for your spiritual sort of health. And sometimes we find that we get so sort of like bogged down with what's going on in life, you get stressed with work commitments, obligations, and things like that you forget to be grateful for what you actually have. And sometimes you're working for what you want, and you kind of like lose sight and start to take for granted what you actually have. So it's just really important to have a gratitude list. Make a gratitude list when you want a bit of a spiritual boost, and it can be anything. Like I said, thank you for my house, thank you for my clothes, thank you for clean drinking water, thank you for food to eat, thank you for family, thank you for friends. Just write a gratitude list. I feel happy just thinking about that now. It's making me actually feel really boosted. So we always forget, but it's really good to remember, to be grateful. And a good way to do that is to make a gratitude list. Number 2, forgive. Now, I can't remember why I read this, or maybe I watched it in a movie, or maybe a friend or a family member mentioned it to me, but they said, or I'm paraphrasing here, forgiveness is like a muscle. So you have to train it like all the time. It's not something that, if you leave it, it can actually just like go. But if you train it constantly, you become stronger with it. So you have to practice forgiveness. Everyone is guilty of doing things that hurt other people. Everyone is guilty of making mistakes. So, we are not perfect. So we shouldn't be too, bogged down with what other people have done to us. Sometimes they don't realize that they're doing it, and sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes it is intentional, and even that you can't control because you don't know what that person is going through. So if you have anyone who has, done you wrong, or you have anyone who's made a really horrible mistake that's ended up harming you, just forgive. Just make up your mind and forgive them. Even just saying I forgive so and so is such a booster spiritually, and you just free yourself of so much headache, because I find as well, if you hold on to a grudge, or if you are not forgiving of something or someone, it has a way of controlling you, and then it stops you from actually doing other things to enrich your life and stuff. So let go, forgive. The next one is to volunteer to help someone. It can be in your local charity, it can be at your church or other religious place of worship. It could be a friend, it could be a stranger. Just volunteer to help someone, because that boosts you spiritually, and also it's good karma, because you never know when you'd be in a situation where you'd need help. And I'm not saying that you should help people expecting help from those people or other people. Just do it as a way of giving back and contributing to the spiritual life, because everyone and everything is spiritually connected. And it's just so important to just volunteer to help. Number 4 is to spend time in nature. So go to the park, go where there's lots of greenery, lots of vegetation, where the animals, you can go to the zoo, or you can go to a local like national park or something, or somewhere where there's a lot of nature for you to sort of immerse yourself in and just watch, observe, and just be. It has such spiritual boosters for you, and it just makes you feel happy afterwards. You just think, oh, I'm part of this. It's time for the mental checklist. Number 1 is to read a book. It could be any book. It could be an educational book, it could be a fiction book, it could be anything that gets your brain working by reading text and, working your imagination and letting your imagination go, beyond. It has so many mental benefits, and also it's very good for your vocabulary as well, because you can pick up on words that you haven't heard before, and then you can look it up in a dictionary, and then you can add it to your vocabulary. And so when you're having conversations with your friends, you can just pop out that fancy word that you've read in that book, and people be like, she's smart, but you know what, you just be reading books. So that's really good. Read a book. Number 2 is to meditate. You have to have some times where you are free of doing anything. You literally have to do nothing, and the best time I find is very early in the morning when other people are still asleep. It's easier for me personally to meditate. I just go outside into the nature or warmth, wherever I am, and I just spend about 10 to 15 minutes not doing anything, just focusing on my breathing and just allowing myself to be part of wherever I am. And it helps just to free my mind. And anytime like thoughts pop into my head. I just make a conscious effort to just remove it. And that's what meditating is. And the more you practice with meditating, the better at it you get. Initially, when I started meditating, it was very hard because I would still think about all the things I have to do. And I was meditating when I had all of my phones and tech stuff around, so they'd be beeping and they'd be going off and just distracting that whole moment of meditation. But now over time, I become better at it, and I find that I just take that pocket of time and I just really focus on giving myself, a good mental boost by just not doing anything and consciously letting go of thoughts as they come into my head for about 10 minutes. And it's really good. It's really helpful. I do this every day, by the way, so I would suggest, doing it. And you can add it to your mental self-care checklist. And if you can't do it every day, try and do it every other day. It's really, really good. This third one, I actually love doing with my brother, and it's to watch clouds. We cloud watch. And we just go out into the balcony, and it's usually around sunset. It's usually the best time because it just looks beautiful. The colors of the atmosphere have that warmth to it, and obviously the clouds, and they're making shapes. And we do this little thing where we play a game of like spotting different shapes in the clouds, and it could be like an animal, it could be like an airplane, or it could be anything. And so we just sort of like go back and forth and talk about it, and we have such a good time doing it. It is such a simple activity, and I find that with my brother, he just enjoys that as well, and it's a good time for me to spend with him, and we bond. This one is a bit more technical than the others, but it's to make a vision board. So everything that you want to sort of achieve. I love doing this on Pinterest. I also love doing it on Tumblr, and sometimes if I'm feeling up to it, I do cutouts of like magazines and newspapers, and I have like a huge A2 sort of like cardboard thing, and I just like stick them on there, and it gives like a visual representation of where I'm headed, and it's a very good mental activity to do, and I just keep it in a place, and every time I look at it, I remember that's what I'm working towards, and it's so helpful. So we're onto the practical category. Number 1, clean and tidy your room. I know, it sounds so simple, but it's such a therapeutic exercise. Make your bed, clean your drawers, arrange your wardrobe, organize your makeup, sort out your bathroom, remove all the stuff that you're not using, throw them away, check for all the expiry dates and all of the products that you use, throw them away, declutter that chair that you have all of your clothes just sitting on, or the laundry that you haven't put away. Go there and sort it out. It has such a good effect on you in general, and it's so practical, it's so simple to do that if you spend like an hour doing it, you feel so good, and then you can look back at your room and be like, oh, all that work, look, I feel very good, I feel very accomplished. So clean and tidy your room. Number 2, declutter your environment. So you can move away from your room and start looking at other areas in your environment, your kitchen, your living room, the garage, your loft, your shed, places that you have stuff. Declutter. Just decide stuff that you're going to give away, stuff that you're going to throw away, and stuff that you're going to put in storage. I find getting those storage boxes from places like IKEA, Argos, if you're in Lagos, ShopRite, Game, you can find those plastic boxes, and you can just arrange the things that you want to store and you want to go back to. But you have to discipline yourself and take away the things that you're not going to use. I find that if you haven't used something for 3 to 6 months, except if it's seasonal, just get rid of it. You're not using it. Give it to somebody else. They might need it more than you. And if it's old and tacky and tatty, there's no point in hoarding stuff. Throw it away. Number 3, make a grocery list. I love doing this one because it's so easy to do, but it's practical because it saves you so much time. When next you go to the grocery store, you can just pick up things that you need, and you don't have to go around buying stuff that you don't need, and you spend maybe 3 or 4 times what you should really be spending. And also, I'd say if you're going to go grocery shopping, don't go grocery shopping on an empty stomach, because you start to crave a lot more things than you need. So make a grocery list of all the things that you buy, and obviously between the time I make the list and the time I go to the grocery store, there's some time. So if I remember anything, or if I'm going about my day-to-day activities and I remember anything, I just pop that on the list so that when I go to the grocery store, I'm organized and I spend the right amount of money on the stuff. So this last one is very practical. It's have a morning or night routine. You don't have to stress yourself out and have both, because you might not have the time to do it. Just find the time that you can. I find it's a lot easier if you can decide or determine whether you're a morning person or whether you're a night person. I'm a morning person. In the morning, I'm just like, okay, I want to do this. So I actually have a routine for myself. So there's just a set sort of like tasks that I do every single morning that helps me, get ready for the day, and sort of like boosts me, gives me that activation energy that I need for the day. If you're not a morning person, you can do it at night. So maybe you can have like a nighttime skincare routine, or maybe like a nighttime snack that you make, or maybe a program that you watch or something. Just develop a routine that you do every single day, and this is very practical and it's good. It has so many benefits. So the last category, social. Number 1, call or visit your family or friends. It's such a booster to you mentally, physically, emotional, spiritually, everything, when you're able to connect. It's so important to connect. And I know it's so easy to sort of like send a text message to this person or check on social media just to see if they're all right, or like send an email. That's good. And I find that it's, when you're on the go and you need to do something quickly, those are very good ways to communicate. However, I prefer calling, and even more than calling, I prefer FaceTiming, and even more than that, I prefer real time with people, which kind of takes me on to my next sort of like point, is to plan a barbecue or a cook-up and invite your friends over and family over. Drink, eat, have a good time, listen to music, catch up, have that kind of like social gathering, because that's also quite boosting as well. And it's nice to do that. So speaking of that, I have one due very soon, which I'm going to do very, very, very soon. Number 3 is to play board games. I know it sounds so simple, and I know some people are going to be like, wow, Shirley, that's really boring. But trust me, they're really fun. Play chess, play card games as well. Checkers, just even like those ones that you don't have to play like with the boards, like the twister thingy. That is so fun. If you have a group of friends over or your family, you can just play those games, and it's nice to have those social bonding moments with the people that you care about. And sometimes we lose kind of like sight of that, and the reason why I'm emphasizing this so much is because we have lost a bit of that in our social media / digital age, and we need to have more bonding time with our friends and our family and people that we care about, and doing activities as simple as playing games with each other. I mean, you have to do that. Incorporate that into your self-care checklist, your social self-care checklist. So your self-care social checklist. Yes. Last but not least, join a class. It can be anything from painting to pottery to acting. Just have somewhere that you go every week just to enjoy being around other people and also having an activity. It's good to boost you up, and it's a good social thing to do. So yeah. So that's it for my self-care checklist. Now notice I said self-care. A lot of the stuff you are going to be doing by yourself, and a lot of that stuff you will be doing with other people, because to keep you boosted, you need some time alone, and then you need some time with other people. And it's all about balancing the two and ensuring that you are making the most out of all of your activities, and you are taking care of your health emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, practically, and socially. So that's it for my self-care checklist video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below telling me if you do any of these things, or if you think I should add any more things to it. Let's have a chat down below. Leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.